Have you ever had to make a decision and you just don't know which path to take? Don't worry, I've been there too. Today we're going to be talking about my 4-step process to help me think clearly through making the best decision at the best time. So let's get right into the video. So lately I've had to make a few big decisions, maybe medium to big decisions, and I just got to thinking like this might be the time where people are also having to make decisions about something small or something big, but regardless, it's something that whether you say yes or no, it could change the trajectory of your life forever or for a season that's unfamiliar and you just don't know what to do. I have a 4-step process that I really want to dive into deeply today, but also I have one step that's going to be a bonus tip to really help you navigate what you should do, or at least get you closer to what that answer could be. So stay until the end of the video to figure out what it is. And we're going to talk about the first step, which is step 1, clarity. What do you actually want? You have to truly think, like when you got the opportunity presented to you, what was your first line of thought? Were you excited? Were you disappointed? Were you scared? Were you unsure because you thought of someone or you thought of something or a group of people? That's the first step. Most people skip this and they just jump to the logistics of things of like, okay, like maybe this could be it, but maybe this could be it. It's important to first think, is this something that you actually want? Is this something that someone has fed to you for a long time? And then you start thinking, well, maybe I do want that for myself. And I want to say that sometimes that is okay, but you truly have to think, is this something that I've wanted to work really hard towards? Or if I get this, I want to continue working really hard towards it and like see what comes of it, see what fruit bears from that. Or is this something where you're like, I just don't know if this is something I'm going to continue being excited about a couple months from now. A year from now is different because we all change within a year. We all change within the month, honestly. But I think a year is safe enough to say, have I seen enough growth in myself? Or do I feel like I'm in the same place from when I started? What you could really do, pro tip, journal what that perfect day would look like if you did take the opportunity. Or journal the perfect day if you didn't take it. This helps you visualize and really get in tune with living that life if you did or didn't take the decision. And I think it's easy for us to have these imaginations on what it would look like, but it is important to think, if I did say yes or no, how would my life look? Where would I be? Who would be around in this current season today? Not tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own worries, but for right now, who's a part of it? Am I happy? Does this fall in line with my morals and values? Is this something that I feel like deep rooted in me? I feel like I would make an impact, because the goal is serving others. It's great if we get the reward of seeing something we really want, but at the end of the day, like if we are not serving others, it doesn't matter. If fear, guilt, or other people's opinions weren't a part of the picture, what would you do? And if you immediately know that answer, that's something you need to build on. If you're not sure, we're gonna keep diving through it to see how you can get closer to an answer like that. Which brings me to step number 2, context. Where are you making this decision from? Are you making it out of fear, desperation, burnout, or peace and purpose? Sometimes it's not always a negative emotion that you're making a decision out of, but it just might bring some sort of stillness and quiet within you. But it's easy for us to get misconstrued from our emotions sometimes because we are inviting so many people into what they think we should do with our lives. We're gonna talk about 2 ways, a rushed decision and a grounded one. A rushed decision usually feels like you don't have enough time to truly think through how you feel about it. It almost feels like if you don't do it, you might regret it. And it's okay if you get to that same thought process when you've had a little bit of time to think about it. But typically in my experience, I have found that if you have to make it quickly, depending on what it is, it's not applicable to every situation. But if you truly have to make a decision super quick, I mean same day, almost next day, and you don't give yourself room to really think through what something could be, it might not be the best decision, but I can't be the one to tell you that. Sometimes you have to be quick on a whim and you got to just really trust yourself, say yes to experiences that you're scared or unfamiliar with. That's different. But when it's like, we need to know right now, and you don't even get maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours to think about it, it could be tough to feel like if it's the right or wrong decision. A grounded decision is something that you feel like you have exhausted all the options on what it could look like. You got a chance to decompress, journal. For me, it's going in prayer. I gotta ask God, like, what do you think? Because while it is my life and I have free will, I live to serve at a higher purpose. So if this is not something that God sees for my path, it ain't happening. I just don't want to delay what is greater down the road for me because of what I want right now. So it's not always easy, like hearing that quiet, still voice to know what to do. It's easier to feel like, okay, well, this is what could happen. But again, it's just your imagination. Sometimes you really do have to just trust that it will work out the way it does, even if it doesn't happen the way it is in your head right now. Typically, sleeping on a decision, like at least having 24 hours, is great because it lets you detach from the moment when you got notice of the decision that you had to make, or the opportunity, or the person or group of people or experiences. It is pivotal to not feel like you have to say yes or no right now. You get to reserve the right in most situations where you can ask for a little extra time. Like, can I get 24 hours to sleep on this? And I would love to let you know tomorrow. Or can I get the weekend to think about this? And I would love to let you know by Monday. That's okay too. Which brings me to our next point. Step number 3, consequences. This is a future you check in. Ask yourself, if I say yes or no today, what will my life look like in 3 months, 6 months, in 1 year? Of course, you don't know that. You don't know how things could actually turn out for you, but you want to try to imagine as best as possible, like, okay, like if I do this right now, this is what it could look like. If I don't do this right now, this is where I might be. You roll the dice on that one, and it's tough because whatever decision you make, there are consequences to it. So there may be some celebrations in saying yes, but there may be some challenges in saying no, or vice versa, but you only know that answer. You have to take everyone's advices and thoughts and opinions with a grain of salt, because it's so easy for us to think that just because we trust this person so much, they must know. They aren't you. You have to live with that decision, and you got to be okay with it. And you have to also know that just because this opportunity presented itself to you does not mean it's the only one. And just because the opportunity left you does not mean it's the only one. That's why you only know if it's a yes or no. I don't want to give any insinuation by you feeling like you're watching this video that is a sign that you should say yes, that you should say no. That's something you have to figure out. So visualizing what both outcomes look like, it helps you look past the short term. It might be great now, and maybe it's the summer and you have to make the decision, and it's fun the most times in the summer, whatever the decision you need to do. But when winter comes around and this feeling is no longer new, are you still going to feel as excited? Are you going to find other ways to continue to keep interest in it? Do you truly feel like I might really see something new with myself? Because sometimes we might make decisions and say no because we're scared of who we don't know yet. We don't know future us yet. So we don't know how we're going to act, who we're going to meet, what that might look like. And that's scary. Like, truly, take it from me, someone who really loves structure and order. Sometimes seeing things that aren't easy to see across the way can be tough and intimidating to see like what this could be, because you have to have faith at some point. At that point, like, you can't think through everything and be like, I see this exact path for me. Even if you make the decision, there's something up the road that you're not prepared for that will really build you in whatever way. We don't know yet, but you would have to take the risk, have faith and hope that it's all for the purpose and plan for your life. Everyone has a season or a reason, so everything is temporary. So even if you feel like it's not the right thing for you forever, that's okay. Right now is the thing for you right now. And step number 4 is confirmation. Do you need peace or permission? That's the question you have to really tie it in together with. If you're waiting for a sign or someone to tell you that it's okay, then you might already know the answer. Or if you're waiting for a sign for someone to tell you why it's not okay, then again, you might already know the answer. Sometimes I feel like we subconsciously want to hear others say what we don't maybe want to admit, or that we hadn't expected would happen, or that we thought would happen. And we just want that confirmation from someone else or a few other people that because you say yes or because you say no, this is the right decision. Again, you have to live with it. Sometimes we delay decisions because we don't trust ourselves, and that can be even worse than saying yes or no, because that means you waited so long to see what it could be, or maybe what it couldn't have been, and the answer got made for you. There's honestly nothing worse than not making an answer that you had full autonomy to make, knowing that you just wanted to be empowered to know that if you said yes, you would be okay with that and change lanes if it just wasn't right for you. Or I could say no and be okay with it and know that something's around the corner. It's not always super easy, and I know this step-by-step sounds like that's exactly how it's supposed to happen, but in the midst of it, there are emotions, there are people, there are transitions in your life, whether it's location, relationship, jobs, whatever. And so it's not always that black and white, but at least these 4 steps can help you start thinking a little bit clearer, because writing those steps out on paper helps you see from a bird's eye view, okay, this is how I'm truly feeling. Steps 3 out of 4 got me to the decision where I think maybe I'll be all right. Or steps 2 out of 4 got me to a decision where I have a little bit of hesitation. So why is that? It just gets you to dive deeper into where you might see yourself grow in that position. And the bonus step, make a pros and cons list. This is something that my trusted sources from friends and family have really instilled in me, to make a non-negotiables list. Shout out to my boyfriend. He's the one that really put me on that. But it is super important to see yourself in it or out of it. The pros of taking this job or being in this relationship or this personal development opportunity, what can you see of that is positive? And what can you see of that isn't exactly positive? Because remember, every opportunity isn't an opportunity to say yes to. And every opportunity is not an opportunity that you're not ready for yet. So in other words, a no. Sometimes you do have to step into the unknown, step into your greatness, step into the unfamiliar, and trust God. Make decisions based off of who you are at the core. Your values and your morals should never be changed because the decision that you feel like you have has to be made quickly. People and experiences that typically want to know right then and there, that can feel like a scarcity mindset. Again, the situation's different. Sometimes it is just a high-level job or really quick opportunity that's super sought after. Those are different. But where you have time and opportunity to take some time, take it. It's not always easy for us to feel like we are making the best decision just because we don't know what comes of it. But I think we often feel like we're making decisions based off of this could be bad. What if it's not though? What if you really needed to do something like this because otherwise you would have never went out of your comfort zone? Otherwise you would have never seen something different with yourself, something different with your situation. So if you're in the midst of making a decision or will have to or just made one, understand that there are always layers of reflection and layers of preparation that you can use that can help you get to that and be okay with the answer. You may not be okay with it immediately. It may take a month or 2 or maybe a year. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but at least a couple of months to be okay with the fact that that opportunity, whether you say yes or no, will not be the last, especially if you keep working towards it and you keeping on. Keep the main thing always. So I really hope this helped you get a little bit deeper in your process. It's not always going to be just that simple. And sometimes you are just going to have to take a leap of faith, but that's where you stop leaning on your own understanding and start leaning on God. Remember, you don't do this thing alone. You do not do this thing alone. Pray about it. Write it down. Write down the worries of your heart. Pray over it and then let it go. When you have the time to make the decision, whatever comes on your heart is what it'll be. And know that you are never without, because God will never let you miss something that He's got for you. That is fact. I hope that helped you get a little bit closer into your decision-making process. I'll be sure to make more videos like this in the coming future, but whatever you decide to do, be okay with it, and then go get a pizza or go on a run or go see a movie. Just let it out of your spirit. Let go and let God, truly. So I'll see you guys on the next episode, Party of One Podcast. Peace.